Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you here again for the second day of our final conference. In English, it's called Learning by Doing, and in Lithuanian, Mokausi-Tobulėju-Mokau. It is the final conference of the second day, which is held at the end of teacher training programs, technology, and the classroom, and student-centered learning in the remote classroom. I've made the recording of yesterday, so here you can scan it. I also posted it on our Facebook, so even after the conference, and I hope that I will be able to record the second day and post it on our Facebook as well. Also for the participants, we will try to send it by post, but if you don't find it in your email boxes, you will be able to go to our Facebook account, which is Valstybės institucijų kalbų centras, and for sure you will find this QR code and download the presentations there. So as I've already told you, this is the final conference of our teacher training programs, which were held in partnership with the British Council. So on behalf of the British Council and on behalf of the Public Service Language Center, we say a great thank you for all the participants who, a part of them participated in 12 webinars of technology and the classroom teacher training program, and 30 teachers participated in student-centered learning course held by Joe Dale, and today we are having the final conference. Now, briefly, I will talk a little bit about the program today. So till lunchtime, we will have a plenary session held by Joe Dale, who is still the lecturer of our student-centered learning in the remote classroom lecturer. And he is going to give us a webinar on exploring virtual reality with Google tools. After that, he will give a short overview of the course. Then we will have a break. And in the second part of our today's conference, we are going to have the teachers' presentations. Some of them are Joe Dale students from the teacher training course, and some of them are from other Lithuanian schools. So that will be a very practical, hands-on part when you can watch and see what other teachers are doing. And this is our also goal, to get as many ideas using even the tools we're already used to, but we hope that you will find some new ideas how to use them in other contexts as well. We are hoping to finish the conference till 2 o'clock. So even if our presentations are a little bit longer, so presenters, please don't worry, everything we will finish on time. And now I'm inviting Joe Dale to talk about virtual reality using Google tools in and out of our classroom. Now I am stop sharing, and Joe, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Astorica. That's absolutely wonderful. I'd first of all like to thank Astorica for all her help and support in the last few months, and particularly for putting on this virtual conference, so changing it from a face-to-face conference to a virtual conference in no time at all. And I very much appreciate it. I'm sure everyone appreciates this as well. The fact that you're recording both the days and sharing it with everybody is just fantastic. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And just to clarify as well, the content I'm going to be sharing in today's session is completely different from anything that we've covered in the course. So it's brand new content. It's not something that we've done already, but it's absolutely lovely to see some of the teachers that were on the course that we did over the number of weeks that we were together presenting today and sharing all their ideas. It's wonderful. So thank you so much for this opportunity. So I'm going to be speaking for about an hour and a half, approximately. And before I start, if I give you a little bit of background about myself, if that's okay. So I was a French teacher for 13 years. I taught at secondary school level for 3 years, and then 10 years in the middle school, 9 to 13-year-olds on the Isle of Wight, which is where I live now, and I've been living here for 20 years. I've worked with all the major language associations in the UK. I also normally travel around the world running training on the use of technology in languages as well as across the curriculum. But the bread and butter of what I do is working with language teachers. And I've spoken at conferences and done training in places like Australia, New Zealand, North America, the Middle East, all over Europe. I did come to Palanga last year, and I had an amazing time in August. And of course, I would have loved to have come back, and hopefully next year that would be a possibility, depending on how the situation changes. But I absolutely loved my trip to Palanga last year, the first time I'd been to Lithuania. And I was so delighted when I had the opportunity of doing more training, albeit virtually, but I was delighted with how the course went. And there we are. Okay, so my contact details are on the screen there. If you're on Twitter and you want to follow me on Twitter, feel free to do so. I've recently surpassed 30,000 followers, which is a little bit crazy, really, but I have been on Twitter for 13 years. And particularly since the pandemic started, I've been working flat out, helping people from literally around the world on different tech tools and different solutions, and different webinars I've been running. If you go to my YouTube channel, which is JoeDale100, JoeDale100, just search for that. I'll just put that in the chat for you. Then you will find over 50 webinars in the series that I've been organizing called the Technology and Language Teaching Series, or TILT for short, plus many of my own recordings. And I'm planning to publish this recording that we're doing right now onto my YouTube channel as well. My email address is underneath there, joedale@talk21.com. If you want any extra support with remote teaching ideas or hybrid teaching ideas, or whatever it might be, get in contact with me. I would love to help you during this pandemic. Okay, so this is what we're going to try and achieve in this session. There's a lot of information here, but it is all being recorded, so you'll be able to watch it back at a time which suits you. And I would love you to put comments in the chat. As Astrija has said already, if you make sure, please, your microphones are all turned off, that would be fantastic. But what I would love you to do is to write comments in the chat. If you have a question for me, I've got my two screens here, so it means I can look at the chat while I'm speaking. If you could put the letter Q in front of your question and then write your question, it helps me to identify those statements which are questions and those which are just comments. Feel free to write comments as well, but for the questions, if you could put a Q in front of there. So it'll be interesting to see how much you've seen of these sorts of ideas already, if you've already played with Google Mind Maps or Google Tour Creator. But by the end of this this presentation, I'm hoping we're going to have a lovely tour of Lithuania that you'll see in a moment, a virtual tour of Lithuania, which should be a lot of fun, I think. Okay, let's get started. Right, so the first virtual reality app I want to talk about from Google is one called Google Arts and Culture. Now, there is a Google Arts and Culture app, which you can just get from the App Store or the Google Play Store, which works in a very similar way to what I'm going to show you right now. So I'm just going to click on Exit. I'm just going to maximize my screen. And then here, if I click here and I click on the link, and then we can go straight to Arts and Culture like this. Right, so as you can see, this is what it looks like. Okay, so if I scroll down, you can see there's lots and lots of different ideas here. Okay, you can explore a virtual exhibition. You can see ancient objects, lots and lots of different ideas. So let's imagine if we wanted, for example, to do a search like this. If I put a search in and I put in a search for Van Gogh, okay? There we are. So this has now come up. There we are. Can you see here? This is the very famous picture, Starry Night. So if I click on that, let's see what this does. All right, here we are. Okay, so here we are. Here's the picture. And if I just move that out of the way, there we are. Can you see, if I zoom in, what I can do is I can see up close. Oh, yeah, I can see up close the actual sort of paint strokes of the screen, which is fantastic. Can you see? It's actually easier in a way when you're on an iPad, but it's fine. So as you can see here, I can scroll right in and I can see the paint strokes, and that's because in this particular can you see in this particular picture, the camera, that's a very powerful camera, has taken this picture, and as a result of that, you're able to zoom right in and see exactly how it works, which is just fabulous, I think. If I just scroll down, yeah, can you all see how it works? Right, so as you can see, this has been taken from the Museum of Modern Art, and it's fabulous. If I go back a second, if I were to go to this one, for example, Terrasse at a Cafe at Night, which I've actually got at home on my wall, which is fabulous. And again, you've got this picture here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how it looks when I'm on my iPad. So I'm going to click New Share. And in Zoom, I can click on the iPhone, iPad option like this. There we are. And I'm just going to launch the app, which is Google Arts and Culture. Okay. And now when I click New Share, iPhone, iPad, and Share, okay, I then have to just click Screen Mirroring, and it should now come up in a moment. Let me just do this again. Hang on, 2 seconds. Should work. Okay, typically it doesn't want to work right now. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, I won't do that. I'll click New Share and I'll go back to what I was just showing you. Right, I'm not sure why that wasn't working, but never mind. Okay, so what happens if you have the app version is you can actually go into virtual reality. You can have the image appearing in front of you on the screen. I'm not sure why that's not working. Anyway, never mind. It's all good. Okay, so let's go back to here and go back to home. So let's look at some other ideas that you can do. So for example, here, if we went here to this castle park and click play, can you see this is a 360 video. Let's go back a second. Sorry about this. Hang on. Right, let's try this one, art galleries. I think the website's looking slightly different from how I was expecting it, but it's fine, it's all good. So then here, right, so you've got these different art museums. So here, for example, if I go to this one, if it lets me, let's click here. Okay, normally, here we are. Normally, there we are. Right, okay, phew. Right, so I'm in the museum, and you can see you've got the different arrows here. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to actually move through. Yeah, I think they've redesigned the website. That's the issue, right? Can you see? So I can actually move through the art gallery using virtual reality, and I can then look at an individual picture and what have you. So in a languages context, what you could do is you could obviously send the students to a particular place, and then you could then ask them to describe an individual picture, or you could do directions, how to get from one picture to another picture, etc., etc. So I think there's a lot of room for language practice here, and this is absolutely brilliant for culture. Okay, so if I just go back, let's do another one. If I go back to the home page, just have another quick look. So right here it says you can explore the castle in 3D. Okay, so it's just going to load up now. And there we are. Can you see? So again, there are these photographs that have been taken, and you can explore them using virtual reality in 3D. So again, that could be the vehicle for language work, as it were. That's the idea. Hopefully everyone can see the screen okay. So that's just like a very, very quick insight in how you could use the Google Arts and Culture website or app. And I just think it's fantastic for promoting culture. And as a result of that, you can then bring in the language as well as part. So there's huge numbers of things that you can do here. Here, for example, if we go to the Sagrada Familia. Okay, so this is that's a very famous theatre in Italy, if I remember correctly. You've got all these other places here to explore. It's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing. If we wanted to, for example, to go to the Palace of Versailles, there we are. You can actually explore through the palace. So again, I think this is fabulous for sort of language work. You know, what can you see? Where are we? Who lives here, etc. Yeah, talk about things in the past using the perfect tense, for example. And then you can see there you've got lots of little thumbnails at the bottom. So if you're describing a house, you could describe the Palace of Versailles. There's a big mantelpiece here. On the mantelpiece, there is a clock and two vases, etc., etc., etc. So lots and lots of fun, I think. Right, let's go back to my presentation. And that's the first one that I wanted to show you. Okay, let's carry on. Right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at Google Earth, which I'm a big fan of. And as part of that, we're going to look at the Voyager option. So I'm just going to click here. Excuse me. Just going to launch Google Earth. Okay. It does take a little bit of time for it to load, but that's the beauty of doing things live. Right. So as you can see here, we've got the option which is Voyager. So if I click on that, what happens is you've got these different items here saying nature, games, layers, street view, culture, travel, education. If I scroll down, you can see there's lots of different things we can explore. So for example, if I wanted to go to crab migration on Christmas Island, sounds fascinating. If I click on that, what will happen is it will now take me to this page, and then I can click explore. Okay, and what happens is some very clever person has put together a tour for us to explore different aspects of Christmas of the Christmas Island. So you can see here that bottom right of the screen, you've got 7 different scenes, if you like, that we can explore. But we're in Street View at the moment, so we can be looking around here. And again, for language work, I could be asking everybody to tell me what they can see. What's the weather like? Where are we? Etc., etc. And then if we wanted to as well, we could click on the arrow and we can actually travel a little bit in the along the beach here. Okay, and you can see on the right hand side it's got some text which has been written about Christmas Island. If I now click on the next option, scene number 2, we're now going to meet the red crab. Okay, So now we're going somewhere else, and there we are. Look at that. Okay, so again, for language work, you could say, okay, what can you see? I can see lots of red crabs. Ugh. Fantastic. Okay, and then again, you've got some text here. If we go on to the next one, we then learn about the migration of red crabs, like this. There you can, as you can see there. So it's really trying to bring the language to life, I think. And of course, this is not designed for language work, but I think it lends itself really nicely to language work, as well as other subjects like geography and what have you. Journey to the beach, and so on and so forth. So lots of red crabs here. Wow, incredible. And then let's go to the next scene. Okay, breeding of the red crabs. So information about that as well. Amazing. And then got another 2 to go. Spawning of the red crabs. More information there. And last but not least, the wildlife on Christmas Island. So you can see how engaging it is, the way that you've got this virtual reality tour of all about the lives of the red crabs and what they get up to. So that's just one example. Now, if I were to go back to Voyager, you can see there are lots of other things here which we can explore, all of which, as you can see here, are in English, which is great, but it might be that you want to explore these ideas in a different language. And then how do we do that? So if I show you a little trick which I've come across, which is the following. Here, there's a website which I found, which I'm going to click on right now. And that gives me access to a Google Sheet, which is here. Okay, and it's got lots of different links here. I don't think it's got Lithuanian. Let me just check. No, it hasn't got Lithuanian, but let's imagine we wanted to explore Google Earth Voyager using French. So I would click here, and I would click here where the link is. Okay. And what will happen now, it will open up Google Earth again. And now when I click on Voyager, you'll notice that everything is in French. So now, for example, if I scroll down, let's see if we can find the same tour again, or a similar tour. Let's have a look. I'm not sure if we got the same tour here. But, okay, let's have a look at this, Birds of Paradise. So let's click here. Yeah, and it's all in French. Okay, so again, if you were teaching French, for example, you would be able to go on a tour and all the text here is in that language, or whichever language you choose from that spreadsheet, which again, I think is fantastic for language work, and it just brings it all to life. So these are tours which you can't create yourself. These are tours which other people have created and are available on Google Earth in the Voyager option. But later on, I'm going to be showing you a tool called Google Tour Creator, which will allow you to build your own customized tours. So there we are. So that's giving you a little flavor of how this works. Hopefully that's nice and clear for everyone. And you can see the potential of how this can work. Let's see if I can just go into Google Street View. If I just drop in there. Ah, okay, so I'm sure you can see it's saying Street View is not available. That's because it's in a very sort of mountainous terrain. But you can see you've got different text information about the birds of prey that live, birds of paradise, sorry, that live in that particular location. Let's go into, yeah, I think probably in all of these, we won't be able to go into Street View. But let's just try one more time. Yeah, no, it's saying Street View is not available, which is fine. Okay, so that's giving you a little bit of an idea on how this would work. Okay, let's go back here. So if you're interested in using Google Earth, you can use Google Earth for lots of things. In the course that we did with Flipgrid, I was showing everybody how you can use the I'm feeling lucky option, which is here, this one. So if you click here, what happens is it will basically take you anywhere in the world. So if you were then, say, screen recording your screen, as we're doing right now with Zoom, but if you're using something like Flipgrid, for example, then we're taking, in this case, to Finland. And I could then drag and drop the pegman into the point there. We could then go straight into Google Street View, and I could be asking questions in the target language. Okay, what can we see? Where are we? Which country are we in? What's the weather like? And then we can then click again on I'm feeling lucky, or in French, j'ai de la chance. And then we'll go somewhere else. So this time we're going to Indonesia in a volcano. Wow, okay. I'm sure you won't be able to do Street View in a volcano. Let me just try, I'll be very surprised. But again, you could be describing, asking the students, yeah, no information there, asking the students what they can see, etc. So that's giving you a little bit of an insight on how you could use Google Earth in the languages classroom. Okay, let's carry on. Right, now some very clever people have put together some Google Sheets which have got other multilingual versions of the types of voyages which I've just shown you. So if I click on this link here, I can show you this live. Okay, don't forget I'm sharing the whole presentation with you as well. So you'll be able to see that later on. You can see that at the bottom here of the screen, it's got different languages. We've got, for example, English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, and Hindi. So if I were to just scroll along, you can see that you've got lots and lots of different languages and different tours. So let's go to, for example, French again. And if I just scroll down, I'm going to show you my favorite one. There we are. Can you see it says Beatlemania? So, or La Beatlemania. So if I click here, what should happen, if it works, let's just try again. There we are. What should happen is it will open up Google Earth. It will display this in French for me. Okay, and can you see? So this is all in French. So if I was teaching French, I could talk about the different important historical places in the life of the Beatles story. Okay, so here, for example, we've got the Cavern Club, which is just about to appear. So I could say, okay, you see you've got some text on the right hand side there, or you could just use you could just ask the children to describe, depending on their level, describe what they can see. You could say, okay, so how is this person feeling? How is this person feeling? What are they saying? What can they see? Where are we? What's the weather like? Are we in the town? Are we in the village? Okay, next we can then go on to the next place in the Beatles story, which is Penny Lane, I think this one. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Penny Lane. So again, if I drag and drop the little man here, we'll then go in. There we are. There we are, Penny Lane. Yeah, can you see? So then I can then scroll around and I can say, okay, so what can we see? There we are, Penny Lane. I can even travel down Penny Lane if I really want to, like that. And I can see the sign. Can you see? So again, we can say, okay, so talking about the history of a band, and then you could create the same idea, but using Google Tour Creator, which we're going to look at later on. This is the club in Hamburg where they first started playing all those years ago. Okay, so again, you could talk about, the language which is here. See where we are. Some authentic graffiti there. There we are, etc., etc. We'll just do another couple of these. Now we're going to the Ed Sullivan Theatre, which is the first place that the Beatles played in the States on televised performance. Okay, so again, here we are here. So you get the idea. You can see how it works. So it's trying to bring the language to life by choosing relevant content for the students to access. And I think Google Earth is absolutely brilliant for that. Let's go to the next place. This is, I think, also in the States, isn't it? By the looks of things. Let's have a look. So this is going to be Shea Stadium, I think it is. Let's just wait for the text to come up. being a little bit slow today, I think, the internet, but it's all good. So let's drag, oh, Hollywood Bowl, right, that's right, the Hollywood Bowl. So then we're going to go in, we're going to experience what it's like being in the Hollywood Bowl. There we are. Not quite how it was in the 60s, but never mind. So again, you can see that idea, and then we'll just do another one or two. Okay, and then here we've got, okay, yeah, so when they went to India with the Ashram Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, let's see if we can go into here. Is that going to go into Street View? Yes, it's going to go into Street View, okay. So very different from what we've just seen. Perfect. So you could, again, you could say, okay, so what is this lady saying on her phone? What can we see here? What are these? Etc. etc. So you've got the idea. So I just think it's a brilliant way of bringing the content to life. So those are lots of multilingual versions that you can find. And don't forget, I'm sharing the whole presentation with you. Right. The next thing I wanted to show you is changing the language in Google Maps. Okay. So for example, if I come out of here and I maximize the screen and I go to, let me just close some of these tabs because I've got lots of them open. There we are. Right. If I go to Google Maps like this. Okay. And then I do a search for Buckingham Palace. How very English of me, Buckingham Palace. Okay. And there we are. We got Buckingham Palace, and I want to work out how to go from Buckingham Palace to the Houses of Parliament. So I click directions like this, and I put in Houses of Parliament. Okay, like that. There we are, Houses of Parliament. Right. And I want to see how I can walk from one place to another. As you can see, there we are. So I can go from here to here, which is great. But let's imagine I wanted to have this in a different language. What you can do is you can click on the three lines here. And if you scroll down, you can see it says language. So I click on language. You've got all these different languages to choose from. So again, if I wanted, for example, to choose French, okay, all of a sudden, it's all in French. So for example, if I wanted to try this option here, you can see that all the instructions are all in French, in the target language. So in other words, what you could do is you could, if you're practicing directions, how do you get from one place to another place, then you could use this authentic resource and change the language so that it was then available in that language. And then obviously you could take a screenshot of this. You could then use some sort of tool like Loom or Screencastify to record your screen while you're describing the movements. Or if you wanted to go into Street View, then you could do that. You could start off here, go into Street View, and then you can actually, well, in this case, because we're actually in in Buckingham Palace here, you can actually explore in Buckingham Palace. You can't do that with that many places around the world, but you can't go there. But again, this is just fantastic. And then you can then travel your way through if you wanted to and have a look around Buckingham Palace. Okay. Awesome. Right. So that's a quick idea around changing the language in Google Maps. Right. Let's go on to the next slide. Okay. So here's a blog post which I found, which gives you lots of ideas of places that you can visit using Google Maps in a similar way to what I've just shown you. So if I click on this link, it will then take us to different places. So you can see you've got places like the Colosseum, Palace of Versailles, which we just had a quick look around, Everest Base Camp, Stonehenge. So just to give you a flavor, if I click on here on the link on the title for the Colosseum, it will now allow me to go straight into the Colosseum in Rome, which I have actually personally visited a couple of years ago, which is amazing. But as you can see here, you can get a feel for what it's like being here. And again, you could use this for language work. What can you see? Who lived here? How old is this building? Where is it? And again, as with other things, we can use Street View and we can travel around and have a look around while we're here. Okay, if we then go back to, sorry, if I go back here, should I say, go back to the link. There we are. Let's go a bit further down. Right, if we go to Stonehenge. Now, I can remember, because I'm reasonably old now, I can remember actually being able to go into Stonehenge and actually be in the stones and look to be in the circle and see the stones up close in the 1980s. But you've not been able to do that for many years now, because people are worried that the stones will get damaged if that were to happen. So now you can't get anywhere near the stones, but using virtual reality, you can actually get, you know, up close and personal with the stones and see exactly what they look like, which is just wonderful. And I'll just show you one more one. This time we're going to go to the White House. So we've been to Buckingham Palace. Let's go to the White House. And you can now travel around the White House and see what that's like. So again, for language work, I just think this is fabulous as a way of practicing, you know, usual contexts, but in unusual ways. So, or usual content, should I say, but in unusual ways. So normally, you know, in a language course, you'll be describing a house, but would you describe the White House, and why not? And then you can, as I'm showing you, you can travel and be very nosy and look through different rooms, etc., etc. There's certain places you can't go, but you can see, you know, what I'm trying to do here. Okay, let's carry on. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you Google My Maps. Now, I don't know if you've seen Google My Maps before. Essentially, the difference between Google My Maps and just normal Google Maps is that Google My Maps allows you to create your own map with your own pins and your own places that you want to visit. So this is not, well, it is, well, it's not virtual reality in the sense that you can do like a tour when you're moving from place to place, but this is like a 2D version. So this has been around for quite a long time, but I'm going to show you how to make one from scratch. So I'm going to come out of my presentation, maximize the screen, close a couple of these tabs quickly, and then I'm going to go to Google My Maps like this. Okay. There we are. Okay, now as you can see, I've done one or two maps about a place called San Carlo, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now again. So if I just give you a flavor of how this works, if I click create a new map here. Okay, and what happens is this will now come up here, and I'm going to give my map a name. So I'm going to click where it says map title, and I'm going to call it San Carlo. Now, if you haven't heard of San Carlo, it is a place in Brittany, in France, where when I was a French teacher, we would go every year for 5 days, and the children would practice their French, and it was incredible. Now, I've written this as the title there, but in the description, I could write this in the target language if I wanted to. But I'm just now going to click save. And then in the search box here, I'm going to do a search for San Carlo, like this. Okay, right, and here we are. Now, you can see that one of the options here is add a marker. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click there, that's right. And then can you see my mouse has been turned into a little cross? And I'm going to click now where the green pin is. And this is point 1. So this is the first item that you're adding into your map. So I'm going to now call this San Carlo. Okay. click save. And again, actually, before I click save here, I could write a description. So I could say, for example, every year could you turn off your microphone, please? The person that's got their microphone on. Every year we went to San Car in Brittany, like that, okay? And then click save. But before we do that, we can also click on the add image or video option. And you can upload your own image, or what I would recommend in this situation is click on Google image search. And now I'm going to do a search for Sankar Lido and click search. Okay, now what's going to happen is all these different images come up, and I can now choose one, for example, this picture here, and then click select. Now, as you can see there, oh, the image is now there, and I can click save. So I've added my first pin with my first image. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another search. So now I'm going to put in Dinan. And in fact, I'm going to put in Dinan Rue du Jésual, which is a famous street in Dinan, which is a medieval town. And normally after our long journey on the first day, we would then, on the second day, we'd go to Dinan and we would walk down the medieval street of Rue du Jésual, and we would buy ice creams and what have you. So now I'm going to click on the pin here, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to write Dinan. I would then say we visited Dinan and bought ice creams. Okay, then click the picture, put in the search, and find a picture. So here, for example, that's a really nice picture, and actually this one is even better. There we are. Click select, wait for the picture to appear. There we are, and click save. Right, we've now got our two pictures. Right, let's add another one. I'm now going to add Matignon. So let's do that. There we are. I click here. I put in a little marker, Matignon. And then I would say, we went to the local market in Matignon. The children bought pancakes, or crepe, should I say. Okay. Right, then again, you click the camera, you do a search like this. Okay, and then we haven't got the market there. Let's see if I put in market, if something comes up. There we are, perfect. So I've got this image here, I click select, and I click save. Okay, we'll then put in Mont Saint-Michel. Okay, click the pin, add the marker, Mont Saint-Michel. One of the favorite trips on the visit was going to see Mont Saint-Michel. Okay, again, take a photo, do a search. Like this, find an image, there we are. Let's choose this one, click select and save. Okay, I'll do one more. We'll put in Dinard in France. There we are. Click the pin. Click here. Dinard. We bought ice creams again in Dinard to practice our French. Okay, take a picture. You can add a YouTube clip as well, but I normally just stick to pictures here. So we'll put in dinar, click search. There we are. Okay, find the picture. Let's go for that one. I love this picture, it's great. And click save once the picture comes up. There we are, and save. And there we are, we've done it. So that's all we've had to do. We've got our 5 different pins. And now what I would recommend is click on preview. Like this. Okay, so we're practicing our writing by describing the different areas. And then what you can do is you can click on each one in turn. So if you were, for example, using a screencasting tool such as Loom or Screencast-O-Matic or Screencastify or Zoom, which is what we're using right now, you can then record your screen. I can see we've got a question. My camera is, no, my camera is on, I think. Is it not on? I think my camera is on. I'll tell you your camera's on.
It's on.
I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm sorry. So mine is on, but that's right. Ramida has asked everyone to turn their cameras off. That's fine. Sorry, apologies. Right. So yeah, so Irma has asked, is my maps available just online when it is saved? Yeah, you need to be online for it to work. I don't think you can have a My Map which is offline. So you need to be online for this to work. And I think I'm right in saying you'd have to create the My Map using the browser on a PC, but you could access it on an iPad once it was ready. Okay. So what I'm suggesting now, not only is this good for practicing the written language, but then if you record your screen while you're speaking, you can practice speaking as well. So if I click on Sankalagido, what happens is this comes up. You can see the image that we've added, and you can see the description that you've added as the student. Okay, we can then go back and click on the next one. So I could be saying, for example, we visited Dinan and bought ice creams in the target language. Yep, go to the next one. We went to the local market in Matignon, the children bought pancakes. Go to the next one. One of the favorite trips on the visit was going to see Mont Saint-Michel, and then we could talk about what we did at Mont Saint-Michel. And the last one, we bought ice creams in Dinan to practice our French. So that's the idea. So you're using Google My Maps to create a customized map, which allows you to promote culture, practice writing, and practice speaking in the target language. Hopefully that's nice and clear for everyone to see what I've done. And now if I want to share my map with you all that I've created, I can go back here and I can click share, and I can click, hang on, is that right? I need to, let me just go, hang on. If I click here, map detail, now let's click share. Let's try this. So if I click share and I click embed on my site. Okay, I need to make it, that's the issue. I need to make it public. The other thing that I can do, so I'd be able to get the link and then share it that way. The other thing that I can do is I can actually make this so it's a collaborative map. So for example, here, as you can see here, it says share. If I click here, I can share this link, excuse me, with other people. I can click enable link sharing, and I can click copy. And now I should be able to share that in the chat with you. So you can then click on that and you'll be able to have a look at that. But you can also have a collaborative map whereby you're all working on it together, which I'll just have a look again. If I click on drive sharing, yeah, there we are. I clicked on drive sharing. I can change this from anyone on the internet with this link can view. I can change that with anyone on this with this link can edit. So in other words, I could create a map, share it with some students, and then they could populate the same map. So I've seen, for example, in webinars, some people have shared the whole world through My Map, Google My Maps, with the attendees, and they've all put a little pin to say where they are in the world, which is quite a nice idea. So that's how you would do that. So there we are. That's Google My Maps. If I now go back to my presentation, And I'm going to give you a few more examples of how this can be used. Okay, so here, for example, you can see there's a few suggestions. So, for example, I found this this web page on the internet, and again, you're going to get the whole presentation so you can see it. So you can see, for example, that the teacher that created this is suggesting that in an English class, students can map Homer's Odyssey and then add thoughts, evidence from the text, justification for whether or not the places that they mark are accurate. So if you're doing any sort of storytelling, you will be able to use Google Maps, Google My Maps, in order to sort of tell a story or the historical places. So if you were teaching history, that would be amazing. If you were doing a work of literature, you could describe the different places on how to put this together as well. Again, the next one, students studying a foreign language can create virtual tours, which is what I've just suggested. Foreign countries and cities, they can add a description of the target language on each pinned location, which is literally what I've just done. Younger students in elementary school could read a story such as hottest, coldest, highest, deepest, and find each location, which is similar to the first idea, but for younger ones, the pins on the maps could include a summary about their pinned location based on the reading in the book. Students in history class can create a historical map that tracks the movements of nations during battles and wars, such as the US Civil War or World War II. And there we are. So just lots and lots of ideas. Thank you so much, Diana, as well, for your lovely comment there. Yeah, thank you so much. And don't forget, Diana, I'm recording this. You'll be able to watch it back as well. So hopefully that's given you a few ideas on how you can use Google My Maps, and the fact you can customize that content is just brilliant. Now, a lady in the States, the US, name is Heidi Trude, and she was the first person who really inspired me on how to combine My Maps with Screencastify. So I was talking about being able to record the screen and then upload it to Flipgrid. Now, Flipgrid, I'm sure all of you know about, but Flipgrid had a competition last year called App Smash Madness. They've actually done the same competition this year as well. And I've watched some of the videos for that, but I haven't gone through all of them yet. But this one actually won the whole competition, like a worldwide competition, and from a language teacher, which is brilliant news, I think. And I'm going to show you the video right now. It's only about 3 minutes long, but it just gives you a flavor on how Heidi is combining Google My Maps with Screencastify. Now, with Flipgrid, you've actually got screen recording built in now, which you didn't have then. So you actually don't need the Screencastify element. You can just do this idea with My Maps and Flipgrid. So let's click on the link, and I'll just play you the video, and you'll see how it works. Here we go.
Everyone, my name is Heidi Trude, and today I'm here to present to you my epic app smash of My Maps, Screencastify, and Flipgrid. The first tool I'm choosing to use in this app smash is My Maps. My Maps allows students to create a unique map with map pins, images, and videos. Screencastify allows students to create a virtual guided tour of their town using the map they created in My Maps. So that's step 2. And then tool number 3 is Flipgrid, which allows students to share their voice and their tour of the town with the world. The project that I designed is a collaboration with my partner school in France. The students created tours of their towns in French and in English to be shared with each other. The students were then asked to reply back and forth to each other, describing their towns and any questions that they had. Here's what it would look like.
The audio is actually quiet, not on purpose, but it is quiet. So don't worry if you can't hear the audio, because it's very quiet. But you get the idea. The children are making their different tours and sharing it with their partner school in France.
And then the students also received replies back, and here's an example of what that reply looked like.
Again, the audio is very quiet. Don't worry.
So I'm Hugo. I live in Lithuania, and I will go to High School.
The impact on the project and the students was amazing. The students not only had the chance to show their towns, but they also were able to share their voice to describe their towns. The students gained a global perspective, and they were able to see how their towns were similar or different from their peers in France. The App Smash allows the students to share what is meaningful to them and to make the global connection. The students are taking their learning outside of the four walls of the classroom, which is so important. We're taking it beyond what we do in the school. And I can easily see the smash of Google My Maps, Screencastify, and Flipgrid being used by teachers in all subject areas, whether you're doing a book review, whether you're looking at events in history. There's so many possibilities. So again, this is Heidi Trude with an amazing app smash of Flipgrid, Screencastify, and Google My Maps. Thank you.
And there we are. Okay, so let me come back to my presentation. And thanks to Heidi for that fantastic video, and congratulations for her winning the global Flipgrid App Smash Madness competition back in 2019. This is a similar idea. Well, it's the same idea, should I say, from another educator. This is from the EdTech Awesomeness website. And again, if I click on the link here, just give you a quick flavor. This teacher is going through the same idea, essentially, how to combine Google My Maps with screen recording. Again, a language teacher, so she's doing a trip of Paris, and then she's describing, you know, this is a lady called Melanie Zolnia, describing how to add different elements around the city of Paris, like the Arc de Triomphe, etc. Same sort of idea. It's just very, very nice, I think. Okay, let's go back and carry on with the rest of the presentation. Right, AirPano. So I'm going to just show you this live. Let's click here. So AirPano is a website which allows you to access photos and videos which are 360. There are some that you can pay for if you want to. I'm not suggesting anyone pays for anything here. This is we've done a search for Mont Saint-Michel, and here, if I click on this link here, it will give me like a helicopter view. Can you see of the Abbey at night? So again, exploring a 360 photograph. I can then click on the right-hand side here, and I can have another view. Okay, I don't know if you know, but this is all quicksand here. So when we used to go to Mont Saint-Michel, it always used to fill me with horror seeing tours going on the sand. I never saw anyone sink, but it was always very worrying to me because I was always told there was quicksand there. There we are. So another view of Mont Saint-Michel. Let's do a search for Lithuania. I've not actually done this, so I don't know if we're going to have to see any pictures. Let's see, Lithuania. Let's see if anything comes up. Ah, here we are. So if we click here. Okay, and then we've got a 360 picture here. You've got some music as well. So if you want to mute the music, you just do that. There we are. There we are. We've got the Baltic Sea beach near Nida. Fantastic. Wow, what a photograph. That's amazing. Yeah, so you can see how that's working. And then here again, you've got different views. So I can click here, for example. This will take me to another place in Lithuania. And all of these places are all accessible via the AirPano website. So again, you can really nicely include a bit of virtual reality within your lesson content. So again, here you could, if you're talking like about your area, you could describe the area through this photograph. Not quite as adaptive as Google Street View, but you get the idea on how it can work. There's also 360 video as well. So just to give you an idea here, for example, this one here, if we want to go to the Bahamas, we can click on here and we can watch a quick video, which is a 360 video. Let's just have a quick flavor of this.
Shark feeding, the Bahamas. The shark feeding is a form of ecotourism. You can see the marine creatures in their natural habitat, not in an aquarium.
So you get the idea. Again, you could find a video that you liked, and then you could do some tour around that or description. Let's go into a volcano in Indonesia. Let's wait for this to come up. There we are. So we've got a lovely 360 photograph of a volcano. Just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Okay, so that's AirPano, completely free. You don't have to pay for anything at all. You can just use it for your language work. Okay, now Google Expeditions is another app which from Google, which allows you to visit different parts of the world and to have like a 3D tour of that place. The example I've got here is Notre Dame. Google Expeditions is an app which only works on iOS or on Android tablets or phones. Because I'm on my desktop right now and I tried to share my screen earlier, it didn't work for some reason. I'm going to just skip this now, but just download the app. You can visit different places, but you can't create your own tour within Expeditions. But what you can do, which is what I'm going to show you in a second, is how you can make what's called a tour in Google Tour Creator. And as long as you're logged in with the same Google account, the tour that you make in Google Tour Creator will then appear under My Tours in the Google Expeditions app. So it means if the children had a mobile device, they could go through it using virtual reality, or if they're lucky enough to have a 3D visor or a Google Cardboard, they could put their phone in a Google Cardboard and they could then visit the place in an immersive way to bring the language to life. Here are some examples of different Google Expedition tours. Again, you've got the links here. If I just give you a quick flavor. All you'd have to do is just click on the links here and they will take you to the different places that you want to go. So just to give you an example, if you wanted to go to the 7 Wonders of the World, and click on this tour here, and it will now come up on the screen. Okay, in a second. There we are. So we've got the Taj Mahal here, and in the Taj Mahal, you can see you've got different what are called points of interest. So if I click there, for example, you've got some text here, some text here. If I click on the next one, you've got some more text, the next one, and so on and so forth. If we wanted to then go to the next scene, we would click here. So the next one is the Great Wall of China. So if I were to click here, it will then give me some information about the Great Wall of China. But again, this is content which you can't edit, you can't add to, because this is in Google Expeditions. But I'm going to show you how you can make your own. Right, so, and this is using this website right now. So I'm just going to go through these slides, and then I'm going to show you live how it works. So it's called Google Tour Creator. It's completely free, but you do need to have a PC, a laptop, a Mac to do this. You can't create a tour on an iPad or on a phone, but you can access it once it's been created using the Google Expeditions app or the link from the tour as well, which I'm going to share with you later. So that's the link underneath to access this. But I'm just going to go through the presentation now. I was really inspired by a friend of mine whose name is Chris Hart, who used to live in the northeast of England, but has now been in Melbourne, Australia for the last 8 years. And he taught me a lot of these tricks on how to make Tour Creator using Google. He's got his own dedicated website for this, which is here. I'm giving you all the links in the slides presentation. And we actually asked Chris to do a technology and language teaching webinar for us, or TILT for short, as I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, which he called Beyond the Languages Classroom with Google Tools. He also did one for Google in Australia, for Google for Education during the lockdown. And he does a fantastic job in describing how to make your own tour. And then on the left-hand side there, at the top left, you've got another group of Google educators, including Rachel Kotup, who is describing how to do a tour of Australia. So she's based in England, but she's actually Australian, and she was showing us how to go to the Barrier Reef and what have you. So those are a few tutorials. If you find this one confusing, or you don't feel we have enough time to do this properly, then you can always watch their versions to describe the same thing. Here's a couple of teachers talking about how to use Google Tour Creator in the languages classrooms. You've got EdTech Emma here talking about how to use it for English, and Heidi Trude again talking about virtual reality in the languages classroom. So Heidi's been a real inspiration, as well as Chris Hart, on how to put this together. This is a template which I'm going to share with you later, which is incredible, but I'll talk about that in more detail in a moment. And this is another website which allows you to upload 360 photos. This is called ThingLink. And if I just give you a flavor of how this works, if I click on the link now, someone has uploaded a 360 photo of a waterfall in New Zealand. And as a result of that, I can now, can you see, I can now move around the 360 photo, and it's absolutely stunning. So if you go onto ThingLink 360, or you do a search on Twitter for ThingLink 360, you will find lots of examples of photos that you can use. So I just think that's fabulous for making your own content, or for using content which other people have made, which you can then use for language work. And again, you've got some YouTube clips there describing how to use ThingLink. This is another idea from a friend of mine in England called Vincent Everett, who's a head of languages. And what he's done is he's used Street View, Google Street View, to make a mystery. And he's used the town of Vesoul, and he's made different clues around the town. He's also embedded audio clips using the free tool, which we covered on the course, called Quicker Conversations. And so by doing that, he was able to embed QR codes into the tour. All the details are available here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. He was able to embed QR codes. You scan the QR codes, and then you could hear the old man in the street giving a clue, or the young girl in the street giving a clue. And the idea was you need to go from clue to clue and solve the mystery. So all the details about that are there. Very innovative way of using virtual reality, I thought. Okay. Here's a Padlet, which has lots of ideas around virtual classroom tours and trips, which you can, again, access for free. This was the inspiration of the Tilt webinars put together by a head of languages in Cambridgeshire called Esmeralda Salgado, and lots of the community added content to that Padlet. And let's go back a sec. Okay, so let me just, if I click exit now, and I'm just going to show you this all live. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Google Tour Creator. Okay, so it's coming up like this, and you click Get Started. Okay. Okay, thank you for the feedback, Violetta. Right, so if I now click Templates, now that I'm in Google Tour Creator, you can see that you've got all these different examples of things that people have made already. So for example, if I click here now on the same one we looked at before, the 7 Wonders of the World, what will happen is that will now be copied to My Tours. Okay, now, so you've got the image here, and you've got the title, and you've got a description. And then underneath, you can see that you've got, for example, the Taj Mahal, you've got the Great Wall of China, and what have you. Now you can see here, I can now delete this scene if I want to, just from the template, not from the original, or the copy, I mean. I can click on the 3 dots here, I can change the order of the scenes, etc., etc. So by doing that, I can customize the content which is already there. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually create something from scratch. So to do that, what I do is I click New Tour. Okay. Right. So I'm going to put in Tour of Lithuania. Okay. Now I need a photograph. So I'm going to go to a new tab, and I'm going to use my favorite place for finding photographs, which is called Photos for Class, which is a directory of free images which are royalty free. So you're legally allowed to use them. I'm going to do a search for Lithuania, and let's see what comes up. Okay, so we've got different pictures coming up. Oh, I love this one. I'm going to click this. So I'm going to click Download and click Say. Actually, let's give it a name. If I call it Lithuania 1, like that. Then we just copy that and click Save. Right, so there it is. I've just done that. Now I go back to Tour Creator, and here it says cover photo, but literally all I have to do is drag that image. Can you see? And it goes straight in. There we are. Lovely. That reminds me of going along the beach at Palanga. So this is an example tour of Lithuania. Okay. Yep. And then you click Create. Now you can see here it says, using this tour in Google Expeditions. To guide this tour, make sure you're signed in with the same Google account that you use for Google Expeditions. And if you do that, it means that the tour that you make in Google Tour Creator will appear in Google Expeditions. It just automatically transfers across in a couple of minutes. Right, let's click create. And there we are. And we've got our first place that we're going to go to. Now, Inga, who came on the course with me recently, she very kindly sent me a set of different places I could include within this tour, for which I'm very grateful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click here and I'm going to put in the first place. Apologies if I mispronounce this, but I'm going to put in Nida in Lithuania. So I'm searching for it here. There we are. Now we've got this coming up as the Street View image. And you can see the bottom right here, it says add scene. Now I can move this around if I want to. Oh, wow, look at that. That's amazing. Let me just do, yeah, let me click here, add scene. Okay, so now I'm going to give the title for this scene, which I'm going to call Nida. And here you've got two options. You've got add ambient audio. What that does is it means it loops whenever you go to the scene. So you can hear the audio, but it loops all the time. Or you can click here, which is add scene narration, and that will play as soon as you go to the scene, but it will only play once. Okay, so let me show you how you can do this. If I go to a new tab again, and I go to online voice recorder, okay, and I can record some audio. This is the first scene in my tour of Lithuania. This is the beautiful place known as Nida. Okay, so that's my audio. I'm now going to move the beginning and the end like this and click save. Okay, I'm now going to post in here and I'm going to call it Lithuania 1 and it's an MP3 file. So I click save. There we are. And I'll go back to Tour Creator and I'm going to click on this one. So just to be very clear, the scene narration, it only plays once, whereas the add ambient audio, it then loops. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to drag and drop this MP3 file here. I can listen back to it like this. This is the first scene in my tour of Lithuania. This is the beautiful place known as Nida. Okay, then I click add. So that means now this will now play as soon as I go to this scene. Okay, that's the first scene. I'm now going to click add scene, bottom left. And now the next place I'm going to go to is Vilnius Old Town. There we are. And I click here. Okay, let's see what comes. Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay, beautiful. Right, so then I click add scene. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so now, oh, okay. So now I could do the same thing. I could add some scene narration or I could add ambient audio, but I'm going to click here and add the point of interest. So I'm going to click here and then I'm going to just write the word man and I'm going to click on this option, the add site narration. So I'm going to record some audio first of all. So let me go back here and go back to the previous page and record some more audio. Here we go. So what is this man going to do? He is in the old town in Vilnius. Where could he visit? Okay, so you could be asking a question, for example. And then I click save. And we'll call it Lithuania 2. There we are. It saves to my browser. Right, so now you can see here, can you see? I've got this little point of interest. So I'm going to put that right in the middle of his head. And I'm going to click here, which is add, what's called add site narration. I then drag the audio there and I click add. Perfect. Right, let's give this one a title as well. So we'll call it Vilnius Old Town. Okay. Oh, there we are. Okay, perfect. Right, so then we click add scene. Okay, the next place we're going to go is a place called Hill of Crosses. Okay, which is here. Okay, fantastic. Look at that. Amazing. Okay, so add scene. And we'll call it Hill of Crosses. Lovely. Okay, so again, we can add some audio. We go back to voice recorder. There we are. This is a famous place in Lithuania called the Hill of Crosses. Okay. There we are. Click save. Save again. There it is. Go back to the tour. And then we could then, again, add a point of interest, or we can just click on the add scene narration. So I'm going to drag and drop that here. Click add. And that would now just play when we go to the page. Okay, right. Next one, add scene. The next place we're going to go to is Kanave. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. There we are. Okay, which is here. It's going to load up now. Fantastic. So I don't know if this is a park of some sort. I hope I've found the right place. So I now click add scene. Again, I go back here. I click voice recorder. This is another famous place in Lithuania called Kanave. Okay, again, there we are. There we are. Save. Save, go back to Tour Creator, click on here, add scene narration, drag the audio on, click add. Okay, right, then add scene. Oh, I forgot to title that one. Let's go back a sec. Let's go back here. So let's call it, oh, there we are. Perfect. Then add scene. Right. The next place is PANEMUNIU Regional Park, which is here. Okay. So again, we can choose the orientation of the picture. I'm just going to keep it like this, I think. Add scene. Okay. Record some audio. This is a famous regional park in Lithuania. Okay. There we are. Save. There we are. Go back to Tour Creator. Let's have this picture there. There we are. And then again, I could add a point of interest. The other thing I could do as well is I could actually add an image. If I were to go to, for example, a website like flaticon.com, which is another directory of images you're allowed to use, and I put in a search like walking, for example. Let's see what comes up. Just wait for it to load. Okay, so we've got different icons that are coming up here. Let's imagine we wanted to have this one here. Okay, and I can click PNG, free download. That's going to download. There we are. It's downloading now. Save. There we are. I go back to Tour Creator. And this time I can click add point of interest. So again, I'm going to say man walking. I'm going to click on the image option this time. If I just move that in the place I want it to go, right where the doorway is, click on the image option, drag the man's picture here. As you can see, click add. My picture is now there, and there we are. Can you see? I can make the man smaller. Quite cool. Then I can also click on the add site narration option, and I can drag the audio here and click add. There we are. Perfect. And then we'll call this, right, let me just do that again. So PANEMUNIAI Regional Park. Click add scene. The next one we're going to do is the last one, AUK. I'm not going to try and pronounce this either. AUKSTAITIJA National Park. Okay, and that's going to come in now. Hopefully in a minute, or maybe it's not going to. Maybe it's not going to appear, this one. Let's just see what happens if I click add scene. Right, I think this one's not being recognized, so we'll leave that one. That's fine. So what I'm going to do now is go back to my presentation, and I'm going to go to here and just click on present. And you can see here, there's this template. I'm just going to show you live now how this works. So if I click here, and I click here, which says click on this link to make your own copy, right? So I do that, and I click make a copy. So this is the genius of Chris Hart that I talked about a moment ago, So he's created this slide, and what it allows you to do is it allows you to add in different images into the slide. So I'm going to click on the image option here, insert image, upload from computer. Now, in fact, before I do that, let me just see if I can just drag and drop. I can probably just drag and drop. Can I just drag and drop? Yeah, I can just drag and drop. Excellent. Right. So I'm now just literally dragging and dropping. And you have to make sure that the images that you add are between these two lines here, this line and this line. So let's add another image, which is this one. Like that. Okay. And then I'm also going to add a text box. So I click insert text box, and I'm going to quickly draw a little frame, and I'm going to say, I love Lithuania. Okay, now you can see that the text is absolutely tiny. That's because this slide is huge. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this very, very big. Let's start off with 96, as you can see. Let's go for 200. Let's go for even bigger. Let's try 300. No, that's too big. Let's try 250. Oh, still too big. Let's try 240. Oh, still too big. Okay, let's just go for 200. There we are. Right. So that's it. That's all I have to do. So you could use this for example, for children's artwork. Put their artwork here, write in text here, whatever you would like. I'm now going to click here where it says area of distortion. And I'm going to press delete. So all I've got is this. You must make sure it's between the two lines. Then I click File, and I click Download, and I choose PNG here, PNG. Okay, that will now download. There we are. There it is. And I go back to Tour Creator, and I go back to Add Scene. And this time I'm going to click on the upload option, right? And I'm going to drag and drop that picture into the upload option. Now it doesn't look cool here, but it will do in a minute. So I click add scene. Okay. And then here where it says untitled scene, I will say 360 photo. And now again, I'm going to add in ambient noise, which means it will play as a loop. So I go back here, go here, voice recorder, and I'm going to record the following. I love Lithuania. Okay, so there we are. There we are. But this could be a child describing their piece of artwork, for example, in the target language. Click save. There it is. Lithuania 6, I think that is. Click save. Go back to Tour Creator. Click the narration, the add ambient audio, which means it's going to loop. drag this on here and click add. Right, we've done it. Phew, right, now we click publish. I normally say make your link unlisted. It's up to you, but I normally make it unlisted and I click publish. Right, so now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to post this in the chat for you. But I'm now going to show you on the screen. So if I click view tour, this is my tour of Lithuania for you. So we're going to wait for it to load up. The other thing that you have to do is here where the cog is, you have to click on that and you need to click on turn narration on. This is the first scene in my tour of Lithuania. This is the beautiful place known as Nida. Yeah, can you see? And I can hear the audio now. And then go on to the next scene. And now, can you see? You can see the man's head. I click on that. What is this man going to do? He is in the old town in Vilnius. Where could he visit? Okay, next scene. This is a famous place in Lithuania called the Hill of Crosses. Okay, so that one was the narration, so it played automatically as soon as I went to the scene. Next one. This is another famous place in Lithuania called Kanave. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Apologies if I didn't. Next one. Right, so for this one, can you see here, you've got the little image there. If I click on the image, this is a famous regional park in Lithuania. There we are. And then the last one, if I go here, right, can you see we're actually embedded within our own picture? That's just crazy, isn't it? Look at that. Now, if I turn on the audio, so I need to, oh, hang on, not go full screen. Hang on, just give me a second. Let's go back a sec. Hang on, what have I done? 360. Let me just refresh the page. Right, that's fine. I then click here and I'll click on turn ambient audio on. And I'll now go to the last scene. I love Lithuania. 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 Quickly stop that, otherwise it'll make you go crazy. So hopefully you can see how that's worked. Now, if I were to now go to the Google Expeditions app, my tour would then appear there. And there we are. So let me go back to my presentation. Thank you ever so much for bearing with me. And that's how you make a Google tour. It's fantastic. And just a thought, if you found this interesting and you'd like me to help you further with remote teaching ideas or hybrid teaching ideas, do get in touch. Here are 18 example sessions, which I would love for you to have a look at. And if you'd like to have a look at this and contact me about doing some further webinars to support you individually or as a school or as a district, then let me know. And I'm going to quickly give you a quick overview of the program that we did over 10 different sessions of 3 hours each. If I click on this link right now, you can see we did lots and lots of different sessions. The first one starting in September was like an overview of ideas around sort of screencasting and the Tilt webinars. We went on to then ideas around collaboration. So we looked at things like Seesaw, Wheel of Names, Socrative, quizzes, which is a fantastic tool for interactive activities. We looked at Padlet and Flipgrid and Jamboard for more ideas around collaboration. We then looked at some self-marking tests, such as Mentimeter, quicker conversations, which I've already mentioned in the chat. Moat, which I know is being covered later on in this conference. Looking at other ideas around audio, inserting audio into Google Slides, voice typing, making a podcast. I know, again, one of the teachers that came on the course is talking about podcasting. That's one of my favorite things in the world. So I really particularly like that session. Adobe Spark Video and making Bookcreator, ebooks. Some ideas around mobile apps as well. So looking at cross-platform apps, which work really nicely on iOS and on Android. And then we basically had the planning session and then the lesson plan session whereby people presented their lesson plans. And then this was obviously supposed to be a face-to-face event in Lithuania, but as I've said already, I'm very grateful to Astorija for making this possible, this conference as a virtual event as opposed to a face-to-face event. And then I'm just very quickly going to give you an idea of some of the ebooks that people made. So I created a Padlet and people posted their ebooks onto the Padlet. So if I just click on the link right now to show you this live, and I'm going to, there we are. So you can see here, I've made a column here to help people put their work together. And I'm going to, there we are. I'm going to click on Inga's, if that's okay. Inga's one absolutely blew me away. I thought it was fabulous. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but just to give you a flavor of what people came up with on the course. So it's just learning now. So Bookcreator, if you haven't seen it before, it's an interactive tool for making ebooks. You can make up to 40 books for free, which is incredible. So you've got some audio here. If I click on the audio.
Don't open the book yet. Look at me. I am wearing a mask in case you haven't noticed. So I would like to know your ideas about today's lesson. Let me know about them in menti.com.
Fantastic. So Inga was using menti.com as a way of crowdsourcing ideas from her students. And again, you can access that via the QR code. She's got lots of fantastic multimedia here. She's using Loom as a way of recording a video. Again, just give you a quick flavor.
Well, hello class. Oh, should I take this mask off? I look a bit scary in it, don't I? Well, just like Greeks did several hundred years ago. But when you think it was back then, not now. Anyway, I was just looking at Mentimeter data that you have produced so kindly. And no, we're not going to talk about coronavirus this time. And no, we are not going to talk about Halloween, though it's coming, I know, but not this time. But what we are going to talk about, it's Greece and the Greeks. Ancient Greece, in fact. And what do you think a mask has to do with ancient Greece?
So fantastic.
Let me know.
So fantastic. So Inga is using multimedia to ask a question there. Just fabulous. She's got lots. She's got lots of other examples of her creativity, which I absolutely love. Yeah, some more ideas here. Just fabulous stuff. So that's giving you a little flavor of some of the things that the teachers who kindly spent 30 hours with me in the course, what they produced. So without further ado, I'm just going to share the presentation with you, if that's okay. And there we are. So I'll just put this in the chat as well for you if you want to access this. So it's is.gd/VIKC conference. And again, a huge thank you to Astorija for all her work. These things don't just happen. Putting together or helping me organize the course, putting on this virtual conference, to the British Council for their generous funding for this as well. I really, really appreciate it. And I would love to come back and do either another virtual session or hopefully the opportunity of visiting Lithuania again. As you can see, I genuinely do love the country. It's amazing. And it's been such a privilege for me to learn from you all and to share this experience. So I'm hoping that you found, for example, the tour creator example really useful, and it's giving you enough ideas to try it out yourself in your own classroom. And if you get stuck with any of these ideas, I've given you my email address. You can contact me. I'm more than happy to help as well. And just to remind you, these are my contact details here on the screen, at Joe Dell on Twitter and just joedell@talk21.com. Enjoy the rest of your conference. Unfortunately, I'm very busy. I won't be able to watch live, but I will certainly catch up on the recording. And I'll now hand back to Astorija. Thank you ever so much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Jael. We are so honored to see you once again and watch you and listen to you and learn from you. So I do hope that's not the end of our meetings, and I do hope that we will meet either online or in Palanga again, or maybe in another great resort of Palanga to show you more about Lithuania. Okay, so thank you once again. Really, we got so many new ideas and just to make our activities in the lesson nice and more engaging and efficient.